Ever feel like you're the last to know about something? Well, Bill and Hillary Clinton might make you feel better about that. They are literally the only two people in the world who don't yet realize they're not as popular as they once were. The former president and first lady just launched a national speaking tour because $250 million is not enough. And yet sales have been lackluster, to put it charitably. New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd described thousands of arena seats being covered up in Toronto due to poor sales. Ticket prices, which began in the hundreds of dollars, fell to single digits by the end because nobody wanted to buy them. The market at work. Is America finally, mercifully, getting over the Clintons? Author and columnist Mark Steyn joins us tonight to assess. Mark, before we assess what's obvious, which is their time is over, the deeper question is, why don't they know that? And what is the speaking tour about?
Well, I would have thought that if you didn't know it before, looking out at, and actually Maureen Dowd overestimated the number of seats. It was actually 83.4% empty, the arena in Toronto, the Scotiabank, 83.4% empty. I believe, actually, the last time I guest hosted for you, the audience was suddenly 83.4% empty. So these things can happen. But when you're the president...
I saw the numbers. That's not true.
when you're the president and a putative next president, it's a great Frank Sinatra line. You should always listen very carefully when the public is telling you goodbye. And that's what the 16.6% seating capacity in Toronto was telling the Clintons.
But I wonder why. I mean, it's not surprising either. And I have to say, in their defense, they've played this out a lot longer than I ever thought they possibly could. I mean, it's been over 25 years now. I've never found them very impressive, but they've managed to get incredibly rich, hundreds of millions of dollars rich, and stay famous all this time. So they've had a long run considering where they started. But why do they feel the need to do this? That's what baffles me.
No, it makes an interesting contrast with what's going on in the Rotunda right now, because you can say what you like about the first President Bush, but his post-presidency was a model of a dignified post-political life, which is why he's getting which is one reason he's getting the send-off he's getting. By contrast, I think it's a Tina Brown line where she said something like about Bill Clinton. He has a heat-seeking glamour that lives in a permanent hyper-present tense and dares you to join him there. And I think that in her own way, she actually understood that they're on a perpetual hamster wheel. And for the last few years, they were raking in big bucks from a niche market. Layabout Saudi princes and Kazakh oligarchs and all these other sleazy figures who were willing to give them millions of dollars because they thought they were going to be back in the White House. Now they can't get people to give them, in Toronto, they couldn't get people to give them $10. That's what ticket prices were, and that's $10 Canadian, which thanks to Justin Trudeau is about $1.79 American right now. So the difference between what a Saudi prince is prepared to pay and what an average ordinary member of the public in Toronto is prepared to pay tells you of what has happened to the Clintons in the real world.
So very quickly, I'm just speculating here, but since you know everything, I'm just going to run this by you because maybe you know the answer. Those 8 or 9 guys who dismembered Khashoggi, how many were donors to the Clinton Foundation? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, the clever thing about them is that warring factions in the House of Saud were all big donors to the Clinton Foundation. I'm not saying, I'm not saying there's different princes, but they were all trying to buy off the Clinton Foundation in the good old days. Prices slashed to clear on Clinton Foundation speeches now.
I've noticed. Mark Steyn, always so refreshing to see you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tucker.